Have you ever felt that you know what you want to say, but you don't have the accurate words or expressions to do it? Well, this question is very important, because being aware of how to use the language can help you improve your writing and speaking skills. In order to explain this, today, myself, Juan Guapacha, I'm going to talk about the Metadiscourse markers. But before starting with the markers, we first need to know about what is Metadiscourse. Metadiscourse can be considered as a way of looking at language use, based on the fact that, as we speak or write, we monitor the possible responses of others, making decisions about the kind of effects we are having on our listeners or readers, and adjusting our language to best achieve our purposes. It is basically the discourse about the discourse. Knowing this, we can continue. Let's look at this phrase. As mentioned earlier, this is a key factor. To clarify, it plays a crucial role in the overall process. In this phrase, there are some words that have the word to help build the argument. For example, as mentioned earlier, to clarify and crucial roles. And those are classified as Metadiscourse markers, which is the topic of today. To talk about Metadiscourse markers, it is important to know that they are divided into groups: interactive resources, which helps with the organization of discourse and guide the reader through the text, and interactional resources, which control the writer's level of personality and involves the reader. Now let's start with the markers of the interactive resources. First, we have the transitions, which express semantic relation between main clauses. For example, in addition, therefore, besides, or however. And a phrase example of this could be: in addition to these points, we must consider the limitations of the study. Second, frame markers, which refer to discourse acts, sequences, or text stages. For example, firstly, last but not least, to conclude, and my purpose is. A phrase example could be: in this section, we will examine the key findings of the study. Third, indephoric markers, that refer to information in other parts of the text. For example, as noted above, as mentioned earlier, and in the previous section. A phrase example could be: as mentioned in chapter 2, the methodology used was standard. Fourth, evidentials, that refer to source of information from other texts. For example, according to, research shows that, and in the findings of. A phrase example could be: it has been shown in various studies that exercise improves mental health. Sixth, code classes, which help readers grasp meaning of ideational material. For example, to illustrate, in other words, put differently, and which means that. A phrase example could be: in other words, the study's results are inconclusive. Now, let's continue with the markers of the interactional resources. First, hedges, which withhold writers' full commitment to proposition. For example, perhaps this may suggest, appears that, and possibly. And a phrase example could be: it seems that the project is progressing as planned. Second, boosters, which emphasize force or writer's certainty in proposition. For example, indeed, undoubtedly, crucially, and significantly. And a phrase example could be: undoubtedly, the new policy will have far-reaching implications. Third, attitude markers, which express writer's attitude to proposition. For example, impressively, what's remarkable is, unfortunately, and unexpectedly. And a phrase example of this could be: surprisingly, the results showed a significant improvement. Fourth, engagement markers. They explicitly refer to build relationship with reader. For example, you can see that, we can conclude that, let's consider, and have you ever thought about? Well, and a phrase example of this could be, let's examine the evidence from another perspective. Fifth, self-mentions. They explicitly refer to author. For example, in my opinion, I disagree with, as I have observed, and I would suggest. A phrase example could be, as I have stated earlier, the proposed solution is viable. In conclusion, metadiscourse markers are crucial for effective communication, as they help organize ideas, direct the audience, and clarify the message in any form of discourse. Whether you are working on an academic paper, giving a persuasive speech, having a casual conversation, or creating digital content. These markers improve the flow of conversation, convey your perspective, and engage your audience. They make your message more understandable, engaging, and powerful. That would be all for today. I hope you have learned something, and thank you so much for your attention.